Heidi ho, hey, dudes and foxy ladies. This is Coach Will Martell, and coming up on this week's episode of the Manosphere, a man finds out about his wife's infidelity. He kills the lover and forces his wife to decapitate the lover after they bury him 200 miles away from the murder scene. Coming up on this week's episode of the Manosphere. Let's get it cracking. Deuces! Hello, one and all. This is Coach Will Martell, back at you with another episode of the Manosphere. And if you get the opportunity, please comment, like, share, and subscribe. And pretty soon, I will be taking private consultation. And the only thing you have to do, if information that is to go to Coach Will Martell 28@gmail.com. Okay, let's get it cracking. Okay, so today's subject will be maybe a little morbid. It's more of on a serious note, and that is a man that she had an affair with a guy at her place of employment and forces her to cut his head off after he executes him. Okay, so this story comes out of New Hampshire. And the article is a New Hampshire couple is behind bars after the husband allegedly shot and killed the man his wife was having an affair with, and then forced his wife to decapitate the man after trying to dispose of his body. The police said Brittany Barron told them that her husband, Armando Barron, was looking through her phone and discovered some inappropriate text messages from her coworker, which is Jonathan Amaral. Anyhow, Brittany, whose booking photo showed her with two black eyes, said her husband began beating her about the face repeatedly and strangled her so she had passed out. Then, according to the court documents, Armando texted his wife's lover, pretending to be her, luring him to meet at a park. Anyway, according to the investigators, Armando led Jonathan by gunpoint into the back of his car and forced his wife to slit Jonathan's wrist. The married couple got into the front seat of the car, where Brittany told investigators her husband turned and shot Jonathan 3 times in the chest and once in the head. The couple drove 200 miles with the body into the forest, where the husband ordered Brittany to cut off Jonathan's head with a saw so that he could not be identified, according to the court documents. Okay, listen, guys. Okay. You know what? A lot of women are going to get really, really pissed off at me for making this statement, but I'm going to make this statement anyhow, okay? Because I know that I have a lot of females that come to my channel and they listen to what I have to say, and I am basically trying to be fair, but in this sense, I cannot be fair about this because this goes on all the time. Now, this is going to go into the narcissistic personality disorder area, which I'm not going to get deep into. I'll do that at another time. And I already made a video on, many videos, mind you, on narcissistic personality disorder. But here are my opinions on this. This is triangulation in its purest form. She wanted to stay married with her husband while having a side dude. You know, I look at it like this. Yes, the husband should have been upset. He should have been angry. He should have been mad. But now, you know what's happened to him? What's happened to him was he was taken out of his masculine frame. He went after a guy and took his life because of something that his wife did. Okay, and I understand the anger. But in my opinion, what the married man should have done, Armando should have done, was approached his wife and asked her, what is this? He wasn't going to get a straight answer anyway, because you never do. Okay, you never get a straight answer in these situations whatsoever. You don't, okay? But what I think he should have done was approached his wife, asked her what was going on. If he couldn't get a straight answer, he had the evidence right there. It was in his phone. I mean, in her phone. Excuse me. It was in her phone. So she couldn't deny that this affair was not going on. Okay. And I feel that he should have approached her, asked her some questions, and if the questions, the answers to the questions didn't, meet his standards, then he should have turned around, packed his stuff, and left her. Okay? Because I understand all of this stuff, crimes of passion. I've heard about it over and over again. And really, to be honest with you, it is on the rise like never, ever before. It is going up. The death rate is going up. And this is among people that plan to spend their lives together. And, and I will never, ever say anything about, oh, I'm going to be with you forever and all of this crap, because that's what it is. It's BS. I mean, it's BS in this sense. Forever is an illusion, okay? Just like we are allowed so much time on this earth, okay? So goes it with a love relationship, or the dopamine levels drop and, that person is going to want somebody else and all of that. It is just the way life is, okay? It is just the way it is. And in my opinion, this guy is regretting the decision that he made to take a man's life, okay? And and trust me, Jonathan is as much at fault than the woman, because he knew that this woman was married. He knew that she was married, but, he decided that, oh, well, I guess it's a free piece of peace leave, so I'm going to go for it. She's the one that's got to deal with it. You know what? That's BS also. Okay, and for those of you that might be messing around with some married person, guess what's going to happen? One day, it may not be today, may not be tomorrow, it may not be next week or next year, but the longer this affair goes on, there is going to be a high risk factor that it will be found out. And trust me, it will be discovered. It will be discovered in one way or another. Okay, and guess what's going to happen then? That person that you may be messing around with that's married is not going to ever leave that other person. They can tell you all day long, that they will leave that person for you. Guess what? It will never happen. It will never, ever happen. You're the side piece. That's the way it is. The person that is married or in a LTR and things like that, they're not going to ever leave that other person for you. And if they do, there is a very, very good chance that the same thing that happened for you to get that person to become yours, this cycle is going to repeat itself. So I just want to say, in reference, you know, you know, in reference to, what to do and what not to do. You know what? I'm a coach. I can only guide you. I can only guide you guys to try to self-improve, to improve as men, that kind of thing. But I can't tell you the decisions to make. So my opinion is my opinion. And in my opinion, I'm not going to say that this guy, Jonathan, got what was coming to him, but he knew the risk. Okay. He knew the risk. If you want to know what an adulterous affair can be, I suggest that you guys go out and watch this movie, and I'm going to plug it because I think it is a great depiction of what could happen. What could happen when a husband discovers his wife doing some lewd things that she wasn't even doing to him because she decided that she didn't want him anymore and she wanted somebody else. You know what? It's this simple. Leave the relationship. Leave. That's all a woman has to do. If she is not happy, leave the relationship. And things like this won't happen, but I digress. Okay, so the movie I suggest you watch is called Adulterers. Okay? Because this movie, you can find it on Netflix. I believe you can still find it on Netflix, and I believe it's also on YouTube. But I suggest that anybody that wants to know what could happen if a husband busts his wife getting slammed by another man, I suggest anybody watch this movie because it can happen. And there's a line in the movie where the husband confronts the woman's lover, his wife's lover, and he's pointing his gun at him, and he's like, "Didn't you know that something like this could happen? Did you ever think about it?" And I'm kind of paraphrasing the line, but that right there was a very strong line. I think it was. And I really feel that, too many people jump into these relationships really, really fast and not really, really knowing the person and discovering later on, they're not only the person that they didn't think they were, but they're married, they have kids, they got responsibilities and all this other stuff, and they didn't know it. And I have heard of stories where it had been years before someone had found out that someone that they were messing around with were married. It's happened. So guys, take this episode of the mental sphere with very, very, very open mind. Take this episode very, very seriously, because what could happen in the end, people can lose their lives when someone is trying to triangulate. I mean, you never know how the other person is going to feel. You don't know how they're going to react. I mean, you don't know. I mean, and it just so happens this man, this this married couple in New Hampshire, I mean, it ended badly. And these things usually do. They usually do end badly. And I don't suggest that anybody messes around with a married person. I mean, and I have said it once and I'll say it again. Even with exes, okay? Even with exes, if someone has a strong relationship and a bond with an ex, whatever, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, ex-wife, whatever it is, if they had such a strong bonding and someday, and at some time and somewhere along the line, it ended and these people are still communicating, there is a very, very good chance that they might sleep with each other again, that something might happen again, or they discover their love again, or whatever the hell it is. It can happen. And then there you are stuck in this situation where you might be the one that try to take the guy out for whatever reason. And that's not good. So guys, don't put yourself in that situation. So this episode of the Manosphere, to me, was cautionary. It was a cautionary tale about what could happen if you guys mess around with a married woman. This could happen. If there's a married woman out there, which there are many, okay, that try to get attention from men because of the fact that their man is not paying attention to them anymore at home, or they're too busy, or they're working, and that sort of thing, then that is a problem that they have to address with their significant other. You are not to involve yourself in that. And I'm speaking very, very seriously. Do not involve yourself in that. It never ends well. And this right here is a perfect example of why you do not mess around with someone that is married. Because look at what happened to Jonathan. He's gone. And gone in the worst way at a young age. And for what? He did it. Basically, I'm going to just say it like this. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it like this, and this might sound raunchy. He died for a piece of pussy that he could have gotten somewhere else that was, I mean, he could have went somewhere else and got it. Okay? And not someone that's married. I mean, he works at a place probably with a dozen women around, and he picks that one. When he could have picked a single woman to mess around with that had no attachments, that had no baggage and things like that. He could have done that. But he made a choice, and unfortunately, boys, he paid for it with his life. So like I said, today's episode of the Manosphere is a cautionary tale of do not mess around with someone that's married. It will not work out in the end. She will never, ever leave that guy for you. It won't happen. Trust me. I know what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm going to wrap this up by saying that, wow, I mean, this guy, Jonathan, looked very young. If you go and Google his images and stuff, he looked very young. I mean, he looked like he could be my son's age. I mean, anyhow, I digress. Look, the bottom line to this show is, like I said, it's a cautionary tale. It's a tale of if you mess around with someone that is married, you will pay for it, either with your life or someone in the end will pay for it with their life. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up by saying this is Will Martell, Coach Will Martell, saying so long. And remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And hit me up if you want private consultation at coachwillmartell28@gmail.com. Until next week, boys and girls, this is Will Martell saying so long. And remember, every day above ground is a good day. Deuces!